Hi guys, today we're going to start a collage just like the artist Jasper Johns. We're going to use a lot of different materials to make one picture. But first we're going to practice in our sketchbooks. Here I have a sheet of paper that shows me how to draw owls. There are lots of different ones. I chose the one on the bottom right. So I'm drawing in my sketchbook first, just like we do a lot. Practice in your sketchbook. If you have trouble the first time, turn the page and try again. Don't get frustrated. It's okay. Everyone needs practice. I've drawn the little horns, the eyes, now the wings. Owls have this cute little mask all the way around their faces. Don't worry about adding too many details in your sketchbook. And you don't have to color your picture either. We're going to do that later on your project paper. I want you guys to fill in parts of your owl with pattern. Here I'm doing polka dots on the wings. Some of your picture can be filled in with pattern, and some of your picture will be filled in with paper. Remember, we're making a collage. I'm going to do stripes on the owl's belly. Vertical stripes. Remember, vertical lines go up and down. Next, I'm going to draw my owl's little feet. Right now, it looks like my owl is kind of floating. So I'm going to put a branch under his feet. You can imagine that there's a whole big giant tree next to the owl. He's standing on one branch. You could have some leaves if you want. I just did a branch. Now I'm going to plan what I want to do for the rest of my picture. Here I'm writing paper because I'm going to cover those areas with paper. It'll be okay if you change your plan later, but it's always good to start with a plan. This is my project paper. I'm actually going to have two project papers. This one is for the owl. So I'm drawing my owl close to the same way that I did in my sketchbook. I changed the horns a little bit. I decided I wanted them to curve out. But I'm going to make my patterns the same. I also decided I wanted my owl's little feet to be pointy on the ends. Now I'm going to start adding the pattern, just like I did in my sketchbook. I'm drawing everything in pencil first. Here's the limb underneath my owl's feet. Now I'm going to cut out my owl and the limb under his feet. This will be placed on a background page, but first we're going to fill in the background. I'm drawing clouds in my background. You could do the same, or you could draw more tree branches or a whole tree, or you can make leaves, or you could just make an abstract pattern, like stripes or polka dots. In my background, I'm going to be using the primary colors. What are the primary colors? I hope you guys said red, yellow, and blue. I traced around my clouds with blue. Now I have some yellow, blue, and pink paper. Remember, pink is red. It just has white mixed in. I'm going to fill up the sky around my clouds with this yellow, also with the blue and some dark blue. I'm trying to fit things up against the clouds that I drew. I'm not using scissors, I'm just tearing the paper. If you need to use scissors sometime, that's okay too, but torn paper looks really interesting. Don't worry if some things hang over the edges, we can trim those off later. Now I've finished with my clouds and my background page, so now I'm going to fill in my cutout owl. I decided to use a paper with print on it for the stick, for the tree limb. I cut out little orange feet. For my owl, I'm using secondary colors. Do you notice that I have orange, purple, and green? I'm tracing out the eyes with purple. Now I'm going to add a green beak. To make it fit, I'm just going to trace the shape I want it to be, and then trim that edge. Did you see how I did that? Remember, don't use too much glue. Just a few dots should do it. I'm going to trace over my stripes in the background, my vertical stripes for his belly. And I'm going to color in my orange polka dots on the wings. Now I've decided to color over my Sharpie with some crayon. Remember, we're making a collage. We can use lots of different kinds of material. I'm using green on top of my orange polka dotted wings. And I'm going to use brown across the words on the tree branch. Now I'm going to fill the eyes up with white paper. I know they already look white, but this paper has an interesting texture and it will make it look a little more finished. I'm going to fold this black paper in half to make the two black dots for the eyes the same shape. I know I already colored them in, but I decided that it would look nice if these were paper too. Remember, it's okay to change your mind sometimes. Dot for the eyes, and now he's looking at you. Now I'm going to fill in the horns or the ears for my owl. To do that and make them the right shape, I laid a piece of paper under it and traced around. Now I'm going to cut it out and make sure that it fits. That's how I made the right horn that you see over there. It's a little bit big. See how it goes down onto my owl's forehead? So I'm going to draw a line where I want to trim it and then use my scissors really quickly. I'm going to use the scraps. We always want to use scraps when we can so we don't waste paper. I'm going to fill in my owl's forehead. Notice I'm tearing again. I'm not cutting. You could do a combination of tearing and cutting, but torn edges of paper look really interesting. In fact, it sort of looks like real feathers. I'm going to finish the top of my owl's head, and then I'm going to fill in around his eyes with orange. Remember, if something hangs over the edge of the owl, you can always go back and trim it after your glue is dry. And here comes the orange eyes. Ready? Wait for it. Wait for it. There it is. Now I'm going to clean up. Remember, save scraps. Other groups might be able to use the scraps that you have. Don't crumple them up. Here's my finished background. Notice that I colored my clouds in with pink. I moved my owl around to decide where I wanted to put him. Now I'm using some glue on the background. On the back of the owl. Don't forget to put glue on the tree limb too. And there he is, my hoot owl. Have fun, everyone.